Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Today is Thursday, November 15th, 2018, and this is Mastermind Call number 203. Little business from last week. We had several great success stories. The winner of the week is Richard Rue. Richard was kind enough to share with us, I guess, about a dozen success stories, and he coached a couple of y'all that came on and had questions, so we very much appreciate it. Richard is our winner of the week, and every week we just look for the best success story of the week, and we give you guys either some prehistorical or a discount on your next set of leads. So don't be bashful to brag about your successes. We want to hear them. One other thing I wanted to mention, there was a little confusion, and I was confused. Chad mentioned at all of your requests, we've done a lot of development work, and we've significantly upgraded our search bar on the website. You can go in there now and put virtually any name or phrase, and it's going to give you, instead of having to, where is the attorney information, where is how do I make my first call, just go to alltheleads.com, and in the search bar, just put the word or phrase you're looking for, and it'll bring up links to all of our content. Now, you do have to sign out as of the subscriber portal before you do that, and then just go to alltheleads.com.
Hey Jim, let me jump in here, bud. You're kind of close, but you're off the rails a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
They don't sign out of anything. That's not the right answer there. I mean, if you just click on the ATL logo, it'll take you out. It's not logging you out of the site, and you're not going to be finding your lead information there. You have a search bar in your portal, and there's also a search bar on the website itself. Both of them serve different purposes, and what we're doing now, we're going to ultimately do is give you the ability to see everything from the public site as well as on your data, your information, and the stuff behind the portal on the search bar within the portal, so you don't have to log out. But for now, if you want to find information that's contained on our frequently asked questions or anything on any of our blog posts or anything else, you'll need to use the search facility that's built into the public website, which is under clicking on ATL on the logo when you're logged into your website. That's where that data is found.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Not really, but thank you.
Well, but you said it so much better than I did, but I just really wanted to make sure it was understood.
Thank you for saying it technically correct, because I can't understand how it works, but you did a better job. Thank you.
Yeah, the bottom line is, if you want to find something that you don't know where it is, give it a shot. If it's public info, it's probably going to be in the search bar on the public side, and if it's your information or subscriber information or any of the data that is reserved for our subscribers, it's contained in the portal, and we will shortly pull all of that and make it available in the portal as well. But we're actually running two different sets of technology to provide the web experience we provide.
Perfect. I just thought that was a really cool way to find whatever you're looking for without having to call one of us to have it find it for you. So great job there. Only other thing I wanted to mention, if Ryan Comstock, if you're on the call, he had a number of great wins he was going to share this week. Just hit *6 and hit 1. And lastly, in just a couple weeks, we will be at the Triple Play Conference in Atlantic City, New Jersey. If any of you are going to be there, please stop in and say hello to us. And that's all from me. Tim, what would you like to share with the group?
I would like to share that I'm happy that it's almost Thanksgiving, and I will tell you something that we're doing, and I would encourage you to do the same if you have the opportunity to do that. We decided to, in lieu of doing some of the stuff that we do, we asked everybody. We're having obviously bringing everybody in. We're calling it a friendversary tomorrow in our offices, but everybody's also bringing in canned goods and other stuff, and we're making a big, huge bunch of canned goods for people in our community that aren't doing as well and aren't enjoying Thanksgiving as well as they could be. And I encourage you to do whatever you can to reach out in your local community and be a leader and demonstrate your leadership by giving some back to the people that need stuff on Thanksgiving. Make everybody have a better Thanksgiving.
Excellent. Well said. Chad, anything you'd like to share?
Don't put a turkey in the food drive basket. I got in trouble for that. It dripped on the floor.
Yeah, but it was live, man. It was alive.
Only in West. Yeah. Donate if you live in West Virginia. Don't donate live turkeys. That's that's
Be quiet, Cecil.
That's great. Chad, I believe you do have new next mastery dates to share with everyone, correct?
I do. So November Probate Mastery has been scheduled. You should have, everybody should have seen it. May have seen an email yesterday. The dates are November 27th, 28th, and 29th. So not the week of Thanksgiving, the week following. And that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll start at 2 o'clock Eastern, and who knows what time we'll finish. The October class went almost 9 hours. So we start at 2 and try to wrap up by 4, but we don't quit until all questions are answered. So,
and just to clarify, in case anybody's concerned, that wasn't 9 hours straight. It was over 3 days.
Right.
Okay, good. Good. That would be a little bit excessive. So great.
So,
go ahead.
If you want to sign up, you can click the link in the email. That'll take you to our education and training page. If you're in the subscriber portal, you can go to education and training. If you're on the public website, you can go to the probate system, education and training, and just click the blue button to get signed up. We always invite alumni. Last month we had 9 people that have taken mastery. 2 or 3 of them had taken it several times. But if you're a mastery alumni and you would like to sit in on the course, I mean, it evolves over time. That's how it's gotten to be almost 9 hours now. But there's always unique content, objections, role plays, different things that we do. So if you've been through mastery and you'd like to come back, you can send an email to support@alltheleads and ask for, to be enrolled in mastery for November, and I'll get you in the class.
Excellent. Tom, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. I can't beat that turkey drop-off thing, but I just always like to remind everybody that if you need anything, we're here for you. Just send an email to support@alltheleads.com. If you're in your account area under support, there's a contact us. We track all those items and then get the appropriate people to get back to you. So be as specific as possible, and we'll reach out to you as quickly as possible. That's it.
Excellent. Well, let's reach out to the people that are in the queue. We have 3 of you. We try to keep these calls right at an hour, so please, if you know you have something you want to share, comment, wins, challenges, anything, nothing's off limits here as long as your language is good. But we want to get input from you. So sign in now, because usually about 30 minutes after we have to close the queue to make sure we can finish up in an hour. So please hit *6 and hit 1 and get in the queue now if you would like to participate. And first up this week is phone number ending in 7067. You're up first.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, so I am relatively new to the system here. I just got my 2nd month worth of leads, and I'm in a new community, or I should say a new county that you guys haven't done this for before. So the leads are limited. But, as a realtor, here's my experience. As I get the leads, the first thing that I do is I look up the property of the deceased and find whether or not it's been sold already. And I got to say, in 3 out of 4 that I got that had a property, the other 2 didn't. 2 didn't. I think I got 7 altogether. The other 3 did not. They were sold. So I'm wondering why the leads are so old, and if I'm approaching this the wrong way. But I can access numbers. I can access the, I see the personal representatives there, and I'm wondering if maybe I should be taking a different angle here on trying to reach these. I'm also seeing the public notices in the local paper, and those are not among my leads, and I'm wondering why not. I'm going to wait 3 months before I get those as leads, where the property will already be sold, or what the deal is. So I'm a little bit concerned and wondering what am I not doing right here?
So I think it'll be helpful to kind of walk through the probate timeline. So there's no rule for this first part, but what we find is most people will wait about 60 days from the time of the death until they file probate. And that's really, they have emotionally processed to a point where they kind of are like, okay, we need to deal with this from a business standpoint. So they initiate the probate process. That's when the data becomes available. So you referenced old leads. Nothing you've gotten from us can be more than 30 days old. We're going into the courthouse every 30 days, pulling every lead that's been recorded in that time period. Now, we can't control what families do. In my experience, probably 25 to 30% are, they will have sold before a death occurred because they're trying to free up, they're trying to qualify for Medicare payments. They knew that mom and dad were never coming home. So a certain number of them are going to sell, and just as many will list with a realtor they've always done business with or keep it in the family. The idea is to focus on the ones that, that we can help. And 1 month you'll find what you're finding, like maybe 3 out of 4 don't need your help. The next month it might be reversed.
Yeah, what's interesting is I'm seeing that the sale dates for the properties are typically the same as what I'm getting from you guys in terms of the probate file date. So you're right. They're not all leads in that to that extent, but the fact that the date of death in some cases is 6 months before or 4 months, or in one case like 10 months before, but the property is sold by the time I get the lead. So
are you in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering if there's a better way to get these sooner. Maybe I should just be looking at the public notices in the paper.
So there's one way to get it sooner in Colorado, and it's not really feasible. You basically pay $5 to view a record and 25 cents per page, or $5 for access and 25 cents per page to be able to read all the documents. So we did the math in a county. We just learned this. We did the math, and it ended up being like $500 a month for a county with a small lead count. So it's not really feasible. In Colorado, they transfer records from one office to another, and that's when they're publicly available. If you want to get a quote for what it would cost to get them sooner, we can. You can email support and say I would like a, even a biweekly delivery, a quote for whatever county it is, and then we can look into what it would cost to get them, to get them sooner. But Colorado is one of the states that they charge for access and they charge for viewing the documents until they've moved them to I think they called it the deed recording offices, where they're actually publicly recorded there.
Chad, I was going to add, it's kind of ironic that they're the toughest ones to get quick access, but over the last 5 years, we have found from our Colorado subscribers that they seem to do better with the older leads. We've had a number of of our subscribers tell us they'll go back 6 months and call their old leads, because you're in a hyper-competitive state also for investors, and it may be also that investors are jumping on the death certificates and calling these people, right after the funeral.
And that's certainly happening. So we ran a test we had one of our subscribers, he's a Mike Ferry guy, so he tracked everything. And he and I did this test in Larimer, Weld, and Arapahoe. And what we were finding is investors, like cash transfers, about 50% of the properties that went through probate were cash transfers before the probate was filed. And what we found out is the investors in his market were using obituaries, skip tracing, and calling every family member until they found somebody who the decision maker was. So you've got very aggressive investors in Colorado because of your market conditions, and that does make it challenging. However, he ended up quitting 4 months in, and about, it was maybe 30, 45 days later, he called back. He got 6 listings in a week. And from then on, he signed back up and he kept rolling. So the folks who are going to sell to an investor or super motivated, we're missing a lot of those in Colorado. However, he's been able to build a whole new pillar of his business out of this, because in month 3 or 4, they start responding and they're pretty much come list me's. And in that market, he's at, 350 to 400 median. So 6 listings is significant income.
Yeah, it sure is. But I will say, in my market, I know in others, because I asked the question when I first signed up, they're getting 200, leads in a quarter, and it's just a little bit more maybe than what I'm paying for, 7 leads in a month. But I wanted to focus in my, area. So that's why, if you're getting 200 leads, it's one thing, but if you're getting only 7, it takes me like 3 minutes to go through them and see sold,
Right.
within the last week. So, all right, I just wanted to see if there was anything else, anything I was missing here, but thanks for the review.
Yeah, sorry, I can't give you better. I mean, you could move to Florida. That would probably, increase your odds. But
well, there are also other counties in the neighborhood or in the area that probably would be more viable.
Yeah, let me also address this, since we're responsible for the lead acquisition side of this as well. And one of the things that we've done, Colorado has been a moving target. There are 2 states that we've had issues with. Rhode Island is one where generally we just simply say we're not getting it. The city of Philadelphia is a problem, and Colorado, and it depends on the county. And as it changes, we try to stay on top of it. And one of the things that we found is that in talking to one of the county administrators, they're about to change their court system again. They've changed it since we started this, and they're about to change it again. And a lot of it depends on the software vendor that they're using for it. So we do stay on top of it. And one of the things you may find is exactly what you said. And if you're not having good luck with that, I'd like to extend the offer to you. If you'll drop a note to support, document your call here, let us look at the surrounding counties a little bit, and we'll work with you to see if we want you to be successful, man. So drop us a note, say, hey, look, this is a problem that I'm finding with the county that I have, and let's take a look at the surrounding counties, see if they're using different software, and maybe we can help you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you for contributing. Appreciate it. We only have 2 more in the queue, guys. We got plenty of room for more. Hit *6 and then hit 1. Next up is phone number ending in 3110. You're up next.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. My question involves how to actually work with an investor, and I can give you as many details as you want, but I don't want to take the time to tell you the whole story. But how do I, as a real estate agent, not the listing agent, identifies a property, and the owner is just, or excuse me, the PR is just looking for offers. He's not looking to list it, but he will take an offer, and it's a shell. So there's not, if I was to represent the buyer, you're not talking a whole lot of, not a whole lot of commission, but I would actually like to partner with the investor. So how do I go about, or what should I expect in working with an investor, I guess, and to be fair?
Do you know any investors?
So yes, I do have an investor. And the back up. Sorry, the answer is no. I do not know one personally, but I have identified 2 of them from going to the courthouse and seeing who's buying the properties in the area.
What market are you in?
I'm in the DC Metro.
Oh,
and
so you're local. You have 2 local RIAs. One of them, like over in Fairfax, is like 2,500 members. You have one of the largest RIAs in the country, and if you're not familiar with that, it's Real Estate Investors Association. So I think that you have 2 of them, and I think they meet on opposite, like every other week. So there should be 2 meetings per month in your area. You want to go to that and get to know the organizers. They'll be able to kind of help you quickly sort through, who in the room is actually buying homes and who just bought a course and wants to act like they're buying homes. But they can point you to the people, and usually the organizers will jump on your deals because they are investors. That's why they put the networking group together. But attend your next RIA meeting. If you need a quicker solution and you don't have time to wait for the next meeting, go to the next trustee sale. So go to the courthouse steps for the next foreclosure auction. Wait until after the sale, but then introduce yourself and say, hey, listen, I've got a deal that I need to strike on, but I'm looking for someone to do this with. Would you be interested in looking at the deal? And investors are hungry for inventory right now. So you can probably pick somebody up, that they got beat at the courthouse steps 2 minutes ago, and you're putting another deal right in their lap. They're going to listen.
Chad, so actually I did that 2 days ago. Went to the actual sale.
Cool.
Took your advice. Waited till after the sale was over. There was only two of them left that was actually bidding out of the 6 or 8 that were there, and it was here's how I approached them. I said, hey guys, real quick, are you guys only interested in the properties that they were selling here, or would you be interested in other properties that for investment? And the guy, the first thing I said, are you a wholesaler? And I'm like, no, I'm not a wholesaler. I'm just a real estate agent that's identified a couple properties that are of investment. And I said, I'm just looking for a couple of investors that would be interested in taking a look at them. And the first guy's response was literally, we're all looking for investors, and literally walked away. The second guy the first thing he asked was, he goes, what's the address? And I'm like, well, I said, can you tell me a little bit of what you're looking for? Are you an investor yourself? Are you representing someone? He's like, where's the property? It just didn't. It started out like that. It didn't really go all that well because I wasn't willing just to give them the address.
Yeah. So you've got institutional buyers in your market. Were they hedge fund guys, or were they just like independent investors?
So I do know that they were both independent investors. After the fact, I went and I did get the guy's name and number. He does own over 20 properties. Some he keeps, and I can see some of them he fixes up and sells. And then the other guy was literally a part of a real estate team, local, and I recognize the name, that there's 6 agents that went together, formed an LLC, and they're buying properties themselves.
Okay. Did you get their contact information?
So I got, obviously, the guy that walked away, I did not. I just, from overhearing, I know who he's working with in the area. But the other guy, yes, I have his name and contact information.
And you didn't share the address with him? Did you share the general area?
So, yes, I did share the general area because one of them, actually I have 2. One was in D.C. and one is in Montgomery County. And I did share with him that it was in the Gaithersburg area. And he said, his answer was, he goes, I'm interested in anything that can make money. I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of broad.
Yeah. Do you know what the house is worth? I mean, you have a good gauge on it?
Yeah, so I have a really good gauge on what the house is worth. Again, without taking the time here to go into all the details, it's quirky, but I do have the comps. The comps it's going to be between $380,000 and $400,000. It's a shell, like literally the guy that was redoing it he died during the process, which means it's going to have to be a cash deal.
Yeah. So normally I would tell you to go get the house under contract and then find an investor. If you want to do this, do you have an LLC?
Yes, I do have an LLC that I run everything through for my real estate, yes.
So to make sure you protect yourself in this before you go talking to more investors, and this is mainly just because of the reception you're getting, it sounds like people are pretty shrewd in your market. So you need to have some sort of a controlling interest in the real estate, and that'll allow you to market that, where you don't have to worry about challenging your real estate or risking your real estate license. So
right.
if you have an equitable interest, you can go market it to whoever you want. So you either need to sign an option agreement with the seller, is kind of the basic step, or just go all the way and sign a purchase agreement, and then go find your guy. Then you can share the address. You can take them over there. And if you really feel like you're working with really shrewd investors, get your option or your purchase agreement and go record it against title. And even if it's for a week or 2 weeks, go record it against title. Then you can't get screwed. And even if they do go around you and try to buy it without you, then as soon as title comes back, they're going to have to pay you to release your whatever the option of the purchase agreement. But you can, I would say, in the interest of time, go ahead and look up your local RIA, call the organizer, and have the conversation over the phone if you have to. But find out who, say, listen, I've got 2 deals with equity. I'm a realtor. I've found these, and I'm looking for someone to, I would like to be involved in the deal. Do you know anyone that would want to work with, would want to mentor me and with the huge upside of participating in a deal? And see if they can connect you with someone that, because what I find and in the markets I've worked in, a lot of investors have that scarcity mindset of, F you, you're my competition. But there's always a handful of guys that are extremely helpful and will teach you everything they know and share deals with you. And those are the guys you're looking for. And unfortunately, in some places they're hard to find. But the RIA is usually the best place because those people are there contributing back to a group for everybody's benefit. So try to get to know the organizer of the RIAs in your area and see if they can help you out. But before you talk too much about it, you need to secure your interest in the deal, even if that's just with an option agreement.
Okay. And so 2 questions. One, with the RIAs, Chad, so you are right, there's a ton of them. I have been to them in the past, and maybe I just didn't go to enough of them, but what I had found was you start talking to them, and you started out the call by saying it's these guys that went and took these courses that think they're going to strike it rich. And that's what I was running into in these, and I got frustrated and quit going to the meetings. So,
yeah,
but
if you talk to the general population in there, that's how it is. But there's about 10% of that room are doing deals. You just need to find out who those people are, and usually the organizers are, they're doing deals.
Okay.
Not always, but like some people are just, it's a side gig that they make money. My RIA is actually a nonprofit. Like it doesn't make money. It's just there for the benefit of the group. Some of them are big money machines. They pay dues each week or each meeting you pay for, or you pay annual or quarterly dues. So they're not all equal. But typically, whoever put that together, had an interest of getting the right minds in the room to share knowledge to help grow their business. So the trick is finding out who those, who the actual deal makers are versus the, just the course buyers.
Okay.
All right.
The other thing you might do you have a title company that you use regularly?
Yes, I do.
So you might talk to whoever owns that title company or manages it and say, hey, I need to cut the crap and get to an investor that's serious and has the wherewithal to do a couple of transactions. Who do you know you could introduce me to? And if the title companies, if they're doing 5 or 6 closings a month for somebody, it's gonna be a huge value for them to refer a deal to one of their top customers. So they have a lot of incentive to introduce you to an investor because guess who's going to do the title work?
Right. And Chad, in working with an investor, I know it can be all over the board, but what would be reasonable if, say I had the investor, what would an investor expect in this case?
It really depends on what you're bringing to the table. I mean, if you're not willing to take any risk in the deal, you're probably just going to get a commission. But if you're willing to throw in some cash, or that if you can contribute to the rehab, or like financially or physically, it all really depends on what you're bringing to the table. To find an investor that's willing to take 100% of the capital risk and do all the work and then split with you is probably not real likely.
Okay.
But if you can work out, where it's amicable, where you guys can, you contribute X, he contributes Y, and you split it down the middle. Like I said, if you get the deal under contract, if you're getting into it at the right price, instead of taking a wholesale fee, that could be your contribution. So instead of taking a $20,000 wholesale assignment fee, you can say, my $20,000 equals X% of equity. And on the back end, I expect X% of the net profit plus the commission. And there was a gentleman on this call last week that did that. I think he was in Southern California. And he did that with his investor and made a really nice profit. So you could, in lieu of, a wholesale deal, you can just, take that equity as your percentage in the deal, and you get that same percentage on the back end on the net profit.
Okay, because I have no issues with going in 50-50 with the investor, cash as well. But I just wanted to make sure that wouldn't be that's not unrealistic, is what I'm trying to say.
No, not with the right investor. I mean, if you've got somebody with an abundance mindset that, they wouldn't have had that deal without you. I mean, the person you want to partner with is going to look at it that way. If someone looks at it and says, well, I don't want you in my deal, you're just taking profit from me. You don't want to partner with that guy anyways, because it's going to go south in a hurry.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to put skin in the game, then you're definitely entitled to a profit share. So, and I would recommend, throw it into a fresh LLC and have a clear operating agreement that outlines who gets what. And then that way you're, if anything does go sideways, your assets are covered.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yep.
If you need help in between calls, just reach out to us, and please come back next week. Let us know how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. We only have 2 more in the queue, guys. We actually have room for a few more. Hit *6 and hit 1. Next up is phone number ending in 2686. You're up next.
Hi, this is Kevin in Texas. First I have just a comment slash request, and then I have a question.
Sure.
Got a comment. All right, we love these Thursday Mastermind Calls. They're very informative and they're very uplifting. In other words, you hear other people doing stuff and you're like, man, I got to go out and do some more, and succeed. So I was asking, have you guys considered moving this to, say, a Monday or at the very latest a Tuesday so that we're motivated more all week?
It's a good point. We haven't considered it. We've done it at this same date and time, and we've kind of branded the date, time, and number. So it's hard for us to move the call because we have so much stuff out there pointing to this date and time, this time and day.
Yeah, there wasn't any real. The only real reason for doing it seems like people are kind of busy first part of the week, and then they're sort of slowing down the end of the week. So we just tried to make it midweek, like Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday seem to be the best days for getting the most people to show up. But
right, and that's a good point. I mean, if you look at our web traffic, if you look at the time people sign up, when people engage with us online, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from like 12 to 3 is the peak of everything in our business. So that's why we chose those slots for the role play and mastermind call, because we felt that's when most of you guys were available to engage in something like this, where on a Monday our attendance would probably fall drastically because every week our web traffic is one example. It's kind of a bell curve. So it peaks out on Wednesday, and then Saturday, Sunday is a deep valley, and then it builds back up. So we feel like we can catch the most of you guys available at these times.
if you ever need a pep talk, call and we'll give you a personal one earlier in the week.
Maybe we need to start a Monday morning mojo series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just very uplifting to me, and it's very motivating. So it's hard, when you get motivated on a Thursday afternoon, and then you're like, oh darn, the week's already kind of winding down.
Right.
Appreciate the comment. You said you had a question also.
I have another question in regards to when you're talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I'm going to keep the house. We've got so many leads. I'm pretty much to the point to where, hey, if you're not motivated or whatever at this time, I'm probably just going to drop you and move on. I'm not the type to circle back around very much. I just want you to comment on that and see if that's the right way to think about it, or is there anything else to do in that situation? Because I'm pretty much just going to say that's fine, and I'll just delete them and move on to other things.
So if you're willing to role play, I can give you my best answer in a role play.
Okay.
All right. So, and what was your name?
Kevin.
Sorry, the phone cut out. Kevin?
Kevin, yes.
Kevin, okay. So, well, listen, Kevin, it sounds like, we could there's a lot of things we could do to help. It really starts with us, meeting face to face and take a look at the overall situation, and we could see if there's any way we could help. Would you like to meet on let's say Friday around 2:00?
Well, like I told you before, I'm just keeping the house. I mean, it's paid for. I'm just going to live here.
Okay. Well, fair enough. And I mean, a lot of our clients do that. I mean, some people will keep it. Some will, will deed it to a family member. Some decide to rent it. But we oftentimes, 6, 8, 12 months down the line, people realize, life changes. They decide they didn't really like the house as much as they thought, so they want to upgrade, go to a bigger home. So, like I said, we try to look at the overall situation, and if the house is one part of it. I mean, if you're keeping the house now, I guess my first question would be, does anything need done to it? Can we help you by getting our contractors over there so you don't have to struggle with finding the right contractor? I mean, what is the plan, just to move in and leave it as is?
Well, it was my spouse that died, so I'm just staying here. I'm not doing anything. We've lived here for a long time and have no plans of fixing it or anything,
Okay. All right. One of the things that's common with when somebody does lose a spouse, and some folks take it the wrong way, but we reach out because we know we can make a difference, and we often see a lot of times the family's income is cut in half, and sometimes maintenance, and that becomes an issue. So, I mean, would you need help with anything, hedges, lawns, anything like that we might be able to introduce you to part of our team?
Oh no, I don't have that kind of money anyway, and I'm not sure why you would, or what purpose you would have to come over if I'm just going to keep the house.
Okay. Well, the house is one part of it. I mean, that's usually what the biggest challenge for most people, but I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but it's going to be a lot easier for you because you don't have to sell, or you don't want to sell. Let me ask you this, and this is, there's a lot of ways we can help, and if you feel like I'm overstepping my bounds, tell me to back off, but do you have a good retirement plan? Like, do you have all the money that you need for the next 40 years?
Oh gosh, I'd be in my hundreds by then.
Well, let's hope it works out that way.
No, I mean, we just had Social Security and just a meager lifestyle. So
okay. Well, the reason I ask, I mean, most families in the U.S. hold at least 80% of their wealth in their home, and a lot of folks get approached by reverse mortgage companies, and that's usually not the best solution. One of the members on our team is a community lender, so a community bank, and they can actually do up to a 90% home equity line of credit. So if you ever were in a position where you needed cash but you didn't want to sell the home, we have a team member that specifically sits down with families and helps them put that together. So, and there's no closing costs. They just use an AVM, which is a computer appraisal basically. So they will basically just run it through a computer and give you 90% of what the home is worth on an open line of credit. So that could be, that may be something that we could help with. That it wouldn't cost you anything. It would just give you some security. You can actually use some of the equity in your home. Would that be something you'd like to talk to somebody about?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, there's a lady named Jill, and I'll have her give you a call if that's okay, and she can kind of walk you through it. If you decide to do it, there's no fees. It doesn't cost you a dime. She'll waive everything if I refer you over, and you can have it set up in a week or two. So you literally have a checkbook for 90% of your home's value, just in case you would ever need that. The other thing we try to help, we do to help is, and whether you're a client or not, we try to give you an opportunity to sit down with our financial services team, and they'll kind of take a look at your overall financial picture and help you. And again, there's no charge for that. If you decide to buy certain financial products, then obviously they earn commissions off of that. That's how their business runs. But there's no cost to just sit down and figure out, what your options are. And for example, if you got life insurance from your wife, what's the best way to reinvest that in today's environment? And I don't have the answer, but they do, and they can give you guidance. So those are just some of the things that we do. Even if for most folks that don't think they need any help, there's still ways that, things that we can do to help you out and hopefully make the money, last longer. Would you want to hear that person's name is Jeff, and I can have him give you a call as well if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll have these two call you, and you have that letter. Just hang on to it if there's ever any way that I could help, especially if it's real estate related. I mean, that's what we do the most of, because that's where most people need help. But there's, anything that you could really ever encounter, we probably have a solution for. So please remember us if there's anything you need help with. Now, I'll break script, and the reason I take a few minutes to do that is you never know where your next deal's coming from. You never know when, and you painted a good picture. I mean, the male is surviving. They don't have a whole lot of money to pay for services. They think that they're going to live in this 4,000 square foot house forever. The reality is, when they probably don't have a long-term care plan, they probably don't have a good retirement, a sufficient retirement plan. So I'm trying to show you ways that, that I can help, I'm going above and beyond to show you ways I can help. You wake up and your whole right side's paralyzed because you had a stroke, and all of a sudden you need cash to get into a nursing home. Who are you going to think of? The guy that bent over backwards to help you and found ways to free up equity, right? So you never know when that's going to come back to you. I find in my life it always does, though. So that's why you always hear me say, take that extra little bit of time on the phone and just see if you can find a way to help them. You'll be shocked at how many ways business comes back at you. And I don't know if Roger Lisi's on the call, but of all of our subscribers, I would say he does this even better than I do. He really takes the time to really exhaust every effort to help people, and he's got a steady flow of business off of 30 leads a month. And it's no surprise. I mean, he's providing a real service and doing all he can. So if you're not going to follow up, take an extra minute or two or three to just ask some more questions and see if there is anyone that that might be able to help that guy. And if his situation changes where he does need to sell real estate, you'll be the first phone call.
Yeah, good point.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have two more in the queue, guys. Next up is phone number ending in 3908. You're up next.
Hey, guys, it's Sam in Richmond, Virginia. How are you?
Sam is also very good at this.
Super Sam. We call her Super Sam, the world's best ISA.
I try. So I am going to go hit up some attorneys next week is what I was thinking of. I have a list of like 5 different attorneys' offices right in our general area, and they're kind of twofold. They both, at least 3 of them do divorces and family law or estate planning. So I think we can kind of hit them with a 2-prong approach. But I was just kind of wondering on the timing. We were thinking about doing it Monday of next week. Do you think because it's Thanksgiving week that's not a good idea, or is Monday not a good day, or what? I mean, I'm just trying to get some feedback on the timing. We're going to bring like a fruit tray and some brochures and just say, hey, we're here. This is a service we offer. If you could just let your clients know. We're not really going to get into too deep conversations or anything like that, but what are your thoughts on that?
I think Monday would be okay. Monday or Tuesday. I would say by Wednesday, people are going to be traveling.
Right.
But I think Monday will be fine. I guess it's hard to tell. I mean, I think personally I would wait until the next Wednesday.
Okay.
Kind of give them a chance to clear the backlog of being out for a few days, and know that you're going to catch them because they probably traveled the week before.
Okay.
If you plan on doing it once and doing it big, I would probably wait till after the Thanksgiving week.
Okay.
And Sam, you've been with us a long time. You've had phenomenal success with the executors. Is this your your first foray into going after the attorneys? Are you just getting started, or have you done it before?
It is. We don't get, I really never get attorney names on my lists, and I think that's just kind of the way Virginia works. Most people do it on their own because the process is so simple. So I never really get attorneys, but we've been talking about, trying to get in and growing our referral network. And that was the thing that just kept coming up over and over again, like, why don't we make ourselves known and market, because we have been doing this and we know how to make things easier and we know some of the legalities of it and things like that.
Sure.
And, not everybody needs an attorney for the probate, but we always have attorneys to handle closings, like always. That's just the way our office operates, and that's generally the way we operate here in the Richmond area. Attorneys do most of our real estate closings, so we were trying to we haven't marketed to attorneys before, but that was just a thought of how can we get in a little earlier and get our name out more, that this is something that we do. We're trusted partners, so that occasionally if I do call an executor, hopefully they've heard of me before if they know attorneys in this area. So that's just the overall kind of trying to get in with more referrals in 2019. We're going to start now by doing it, just introducing ourselves.
Good for you.
That's good. The other thing I would recommend for you, Sam, so for everybody else on the line, at least from Central Virginia to Western Virginia, very few. I've actually never worked with an executor that had an attorney.
Right.
But that said, the other thing you might want to do, Sam, is get to know the probate clerk. So, like, I bump into Kim, the probate clerk in Roanoke City, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you still doing the probate stuff? You teaching people that?" And she just thinks it's the greatest thing in the world that somebody's willing to step up and help families. So, when they're not using an attorney, they're kind of relying on the probate clerk to tell them what to do. At least in Roanoke, that's how it works. And that's usually a single 30-minute appointment, and she sends them on their way. But if they do need help and they call back,
that's how it is.
The probate clerk can refer them to you just the same as a probate attorney would for everybody else on the call.
Okay.
So you may take some time to just go down and introduce yourself and help them understand what it is you do, and tell them some of the stories. You guys have helped a lot of families, so be like, we've helped X number of families and we really want to do more in 2019, and I'm kind of embarrassed I haven't done this before, but I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that there's somebody in the community that can help if people really need help.
Yeah, that's great. I didn't even think about that, because that's really good.
Hey, Sam, we don't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You had a follow-up.
Well, I was just going to say, really, our main focus with the attorneys is we're trying to get into the divorce niche, and we just haven't found a way to get into that. And one of the big things is attorneys. Trying to get there early, because generally by the time things are filed, people have already figured out what they're going to do and where the house, how it's going to get sold, and they generally already have an agent. So we were trying to get referrals earlier in that process. And then secondly, like I said, because a lot of attorneys do both estate planning and divorce, it was just going to be a two-prong approach. But I didn't even think about going and sitting down with the probate clerk and doing that. Would you recommend I just kind of show up, or do you think I should make an appointment? And
we actually have really good success just showing up. And I usually tell, a lot of attorneys are in court in the morning, so shoot for like a mid-afternoon drop by, like between 1 and 3 o'clock. People have really good luck. And attorneys are busy. You're not always going to catch them there, but
sure.
Midweek, midday is a really good time to try.
What about for the probate clerk? Do you think I should make an appointment or just drop by?
I would make an appointment, because they have a pretty scheduled day in my experience. I got lucky. I just dropped by with a whole big thing of Starbucks. I went and bought a bunch of coffee at Starbucks and just handed one to every lady. All those ladies knew me after I was there in Roanoke for a week. But I just got lucky, and I caught her between appointments. but as soon as we wrapped up, there was another family waiting outside to meet with her. So you may get on their calendar.
Okay.
And Kim, I was going to ask you, we only have one other person in the queue, and you're always modest. You don't talk about much about what you've done, but want to congratulate you. I know you're doing very well with the executors. You've been with us for how long, and about how many deals have you done calling the executors?
We started, this is now 2 years. I think we started in November of 2016, and we've probably done, I don't know, maybe 24 deals.
Okay.
We get a lot of leads every month, because, and not all, I would say, I would say anywhere from 60 to 70% of them either don't have real estate, or it's already sold, or they're already working with somebody, or it's staying in the family, or they're not selling. So,
right.
Anywhere from 60 to 70% of our leads every month just don't need our help with real estate. But to Chad's point, and I can definitely back this up, I always just approach it as, what do you need help with? Not, we're a real estate firm and I'm here to help you sell real estate. What do you need help with? What can I do? We've got a whole team. What do you need? And sometimes people kind of immediately clam up, I'm not selling the house. Well, that's fine. That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. That's absolutely your decision, and I think that's great. But do you have stuff you need to clean out? Do you have, repairs that need to be done? Do you want to talk to an attorney so you don't have to do this again? Do you want to talk to a financial advisor? Do you want to reinvest your money? What do you need to do? There's a lot of stuff we can help with. What do you need? And then they kind of go, oh, well, actually, yeah, we do need this, or I have this stuff, or I have, cars I need to get rid of, or I have whatever. And I just try and find a way to help. And generally, I personally can't help them, but I'll still refer them to somebody on our team that can. And I've gotten 2 referrals just from that, from people I didn't help sell real estate for. We never met with them. We never sold their house, but I just was there to give them answers to questions that they had, or solutions to problems that they had, and they referred business to other people who were in the same situation that we did end up selling the real estate. So that,
good for you. Yep.
Goes a really far. You just, to Chad's point, you never know who you're going to help and where it's going to lead, and just honestly coming at it with, I'm here, we have a solution for almost anything. What do you need help with? And sometimes people are angry, and sometimes just really occasionally I'll get chewed out and how dare you, and I stop taking it personally because I know I'm doing the right thing and it doesn't really matter. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfectly said. Thank you so much. And imagine that, not all of them want a list, and you still manage to pull the ones out that do and consistently do a deal or 2 a month. So
yeah, and honestly, it's really older leads work really well, because sometimes people, I'll go back. I consistently go back, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 6 months, and we'll talk to somebody who's now in a ready headspace that they weren't before. When I had talked to them originally, they were like, nope, we don't know what we want to do. I just don't know. I just don't know. Just don't want to talk about it. Don't know. Even though they had already filed probate, so clearly they know they had to do something. And then I call them, just stay in touch with them, and 4 or 5 months later, they're like, all right, now we got to do something. Come on out here. Let's go.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Coach Sam. We appreciate it, as always.
I think, Sam, you unintentionally threw your hat in the ring for win of the week. 2 dozen
that's
deals.
what I was trying to get out of her. That's why I was trying to get some wins. Exactly. Good job. She deserves it. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks.
We have one last person in the queue, and then we'll wrap it up this week. Last up is, and it's a Colorado phone number ending in 7428. You're up next.
Oh, hey, guys. This is Dave here in Colorado also, and wanted to ask you guys, I got a couple quick questions here. One is about what the caller earlier from Colorado was talking about, because I'm facing some of those similar challenges. But to start off with, I wanted to ask about the attorney's approach, because I've got you guys doing the attorney calls for me, and I've had some success there, maybe more success than with the PRs, and was wanting to find out. A lot of them have their paralegal or whoever seems to answer the phone, always wanting to get an email to kind of for an introduction of who we are, what we do. And I was wondering, do you guys have any sort of template for either an email intro or even more so like an email template with, preloaded thoughts to stay in touch with folks like that?
We don't. I mean, what I would recommend in a situation like this, I would make a video, and don't overthink it. Like, so many people are afraid of video because they don't think it's going to be professional, but the videos that work best are the most casual. Like, pull out your phone, make a video, and explain what it is you do and why you wanted to connect with them, and then you'll have that. You can make your own template email and say, spoke to your paralegal. Here's a quick summary of what we do. I'd love to buy you lunch. And just fire it off. And keep it really short. Less is more with email. And just get it out there. And, the beauty of that, host it on YouTube where they can share it and share it with other attorneys. And you never know where that might go, like how far that might go. But you can just have a form email set up, and then every month when you get your attorney list, even if you haven't spoken to the paralegal or anyone, you can start to email that out to the attorneys. In some markets, we get almost 100% email addresses for attorneys, but it's not in every market. If your market's not one of those, you can usually find an email address you can go to findlaw.com. Or you can just Google that attorney's name, and typically you can find an email address for them. So,
sure.
Just, make that video and just fire it off to each of them. And over time, they're gonna watch it, and they will see value in what you do. And hearing myself say this, really, we should give that advice to everybody. I mean, make a video summary of what it is you do. And the video is going to be different because most people are going to send an email that's like 5 pages long explaining it all, and the attorney is going to be like, oh, I don't have time for this, and never think about it again. Where if they get a 1-sentence email with a link to a video, they're more likely to click that, and if they like what you're saying, they'll probably watch the whole 2 or 3 minute video. So you can accomplish a lot more and get a better response by leveraging video. And science tells us that, a video is more effective than anything in writing. Like, people actually, it's more personal.
And
so
Chad,
that would be my advice.
We've had several agents tell us before that they were real successful with attorneys. They would do a mail merge with their email and reference the probate case number in the subject line. They think, Chad, would you do that if you were sending a video also, or not? If you're emailing, you follow me?
I would probably go with, and I've done a lot with email marketing. I find that short emotional questions are the best subject lines ever. Like, we get, you guys have probably seen them from me before. I oftentimes have 50-60% open rates, and it's usually, I think a lot of it has to do with that. So I would say something like, your paralegal told me to send you this, or did your paralegal tell you that I called? Or something like that. That might seem unprofessional, but it's marketing. The idea is to interrupt them and get them to engage with your message. So look for like a subject line, some sort of a question that will really stand out in their inbox. We have had, it was Bob from San Diego. I can't remember his last name right now, but he basically pulled email addresses for every attorney, and he would merge the docket number. He would do like an RE semicolon. Docket number 5678J, and that would be it. And he actually had really good success with that. So you can test it each way and see which one works best for you. But I would probably take the more, kind of the quirky approach of ask a question they don't expect to ask in the subject line, and that'll get it open.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, and quick share, I actually got a call back from a message that was left by one of the ISAs there, and had a great conversation with with an attorney who does just simply focuses on probates, opened them up quickly, and wound up going out to look at a property. It was a little messy situation because I actually connected with two attorneys because they were in the midst of trying to get this thing settled so that they could sell it to one of the relatives. And I just, I was there to help and went out, kind of did a quick evaluation on it, what I could give them the three options: cash as is, kind of retail as is, and then a full reno retail number. And I didn't get the house yet, but I think it meant a lot to everybody involved. So, going back to the whole just being there to help is I think going to pay big dividends, where sometimes in the past I didn't always do that.
So what's your next step on that one?
So that one is I was going to reach back out to the attorney who was actually the PR's attorney, who actually does mainly probates also, but they do some estate planning as well. And probably reach out to him and try to set up a quick lunch or a coffee or something, and bring my stuff over, my brochure, and just let them know what else we can do.
Did you give them your market analysis when you met with them?
I did give him a few comps. I didn't do a full absorption on that one. I'm not a licensed agent. I'm just an investor, and but I have access to MLS, so I was going to do that on the next one I did for sure.
Yeah. I was just thinking of ways you can reconnect and re-engage with the attorney, rather than just calling saying, "Hey, I didn't want you to forget me. Here's a brochure," something specific to that situation that you can add value where you haven't already. So if you can get them, the paperwork that, show them the research that you did that you haven't shown them yet, or think about anything you talked about when you met that you would have had prepared had you known that. Now's a good time to gather that and go back to them and be like, "Hey, since we met, I thought about this, and I really feel like I should have given you this," and just anything to re-engage with them. And then, and if you don't have, it sounds like you haven't had contact with the personal rep, right?
Correct. I met with one of the
just ask when you reconnect. When you reconnect, be like, "Listen, has Stacy made a decision? Is she, or do you feel like I should call her?" And just figure out the story, and try to stay front of mind by providing value to them, and get the story so you know what's happening. Because when you met, did you actually make them an offer?
I didn't have a specific offer. I found out that practically on the way, just prior to heading over to the house, that one of the daughters was trying to buy it. The father was a PR. He owned it with his brother, and it got real messy because his brother's wife, who was a later addition wife to the family, is trying to get her hands in the pie, and they, the father of the sisters owned it outright because it was owned joint tenants with rights of survivorship, and apparently it's been going on forever. And was told that one of the sisters actually was supposed to close on it a couple weeks ago, but the other attorney that actually called me back had, at his client's request, had thrown a monkey wrench in things and killed the closing until they got sign off from everybody. So it sounded like, and I asked, she was well funded and able to finance the deal, and they said yeah. So, but I'll circle back.
All right. Please come back next week and let us know how you did. Report back to us.
Great. Will do.
Right.
Just one last question, just going back to that Colorado thing. I missed the beginning of the call, and I guess I should just send a email into support regarding the Colorado process not being as quick versus, we're also in Brevard County down there in Florida. Maybe I should just switch over there. I guess I'm looking for some counsel ideas, thoughts on that too.
Yeah, please send a ticket to support. Chad or I will call you back right after the call.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Thank you so much, guys. All right, we appreciate it. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to cut you off there. We ran a little bit long today, but it was definitely worth it. I want to end this by the same way I do every call, thanking all of you for showing up. We very much appreciate you being here. We appreciate your input, the people that participated. I want to challenge each of you. Now, obviously, we're not doing a call next Thursday, but between now and a week from Thursday, take one idea, one thought, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice and come back in a couple weeks and share it with us. We want to wish all of you and your families a very thankful or very good Thanksgiving. We're thankful to have you. Make it a great couple weeks, and we will talk to you a week from next Thursday, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.